So this is the video review for the Ghostbusters 1984. Oh god, who am I kidding? It's the friggin' ECTO one. Before we do get into it, let me just move some crap out of the way. We are going to show a little thing off. I went to a trip, which is where I got this thing. It was a little convention called Love of Sci-Fi, UK thing. And I got to meet one of the Ghostbusters themselves, Ernie Hudson, as you can see, holding the flipping said car. Now you're probably wondering who this is. Very, very keen-eyed viewers will know this is actually the girl, the college student, that Peter Venkman did his psychic test on. The one that he was trying to flirt with. And yes, she is holding the highway haunter. Oh, I forgot to mention about the little bugger. I managed to pick this up for £2. His companion ghost. So the highway haunter is now officially completed, which is great. A quick thing to note is when Ernie did see the ECTO one, he was very happy to see it. As you can see, we all literally stood behind a replica car of it. A reproduction. We are stood behind the car, as you can see. And this is all the background, but we were stood in front of the actual car. So that you got the toy car, you got the real thing, you got one of the actors, and two of the actors, actually. One of them being an actual Ghostbuster himself. So that was a pretty cool event. The ECTO one was a very nice piece, both the car and the toy. My toy's a bit yellowed. It is complete, just missing its ghost. I just didn't display the gunner's chair in that photo because I think the gunner's chair is a bit ridiculous. I do display it on the shelf with it, even though I do think the car looks much better without that gunner's chair. But for the sakes of the display, I do display it with the gunner's chair. So let's move that out of the way now. Here is the car itself. It's a big boy. I was quite surprised at how big this thing was. Hello. So I was quite surprised at how big this thing was. Oh God, what's all this crap on the table? Probably glue again. This thing cost me about £45, which I think was a pretty good deal, actually. Especially to have the whole bloody vehicle intact. Now, this thing does have a few breakages, which were my fault, unfortunately. Now, this piece, for some dumbass reason, as you can see, doesn't want to sit nice and flush. This one sits quite flush, and you're probably noticing that bit as well. I pushed down on it, thinking it would lever it, and it just snapped off. I'm not exactly proud of that. I was quite annoyed when I did that. I was really act off. Also, another thing you probably noticed, it's cream colour instead of white. Yeah, this thing's yellowed. No matter though, because it does have 3 screws under here and clips but in the back there. So what I can just do is unscrew it, easily snap this top piece off. Not snap as in literally snap the plastic. They just pop out with a snap sound. Because another guy on YouTube, Tom's Geeky Garage, he literally got 2 of these and restored them. Made one the ECTO one, the other one the ECTO one. He even used custom moulding to cast the parts as well in silicone moulds and that. Like the back door here. As a traditional kind of car, it's big, it's hollow, lightweight. It's not flimsy. It's a little flexible. It's not flimsy by any means. It's definitely a good, sturdy plastic, despite being quite thin, and the windows are filthy. Now, I have not done anything to this, no modifications, except for tightening up the gunner's chair by putting glue on the joints and then leaving them to dry, because they were very, very loose. Literally, guns were just, they were flopping. Speaking of gunner's chair, here it is. I did film this on my bed, but unfortunately, because the bed's quite dark and this is black, it really didn't show up very well. Now, unfortunately, this is the problem with the ECTO one, is if you display it on the shelf in this orientation, say you look at the shelf and you see the ECTO one head on like this, it's a problem because, if you don't know, or well, actually no, that's stupid, because obviously everyone knows this, cars roll. What do you think happened to this? It did a TED dive. It fell off the shelf, went like that, and unfortunately, it broke right about there. Where the peg was, you can probably see the big seam right there. So I had to glue this bugger back in. It does still rotate, and I'm just doing it very gingerly at the moment because the glue is obviously, I think it's hardened now, but still. Again, these were just flopping like that all the time. That one still does it a bit, see? So, but it's in this position, it's all right. So I'm going to be a lot more careful in handling this thing because well, it didn't really, but that one was my fault, that bit there. This was a complete accident because it fell off the shelf. This is a little belt, by the way. But still, it just sits right there, spins around. Can you actually see it on camera? Yeah. Side views. There's no stickers to this thing. But there are set on eBay that come all the way from Australia. Or Australia, however you want to say it. I don't know. I'm not good at accents. And yeah, they're pretty cheap actually, like really dirt cheap. Like about £1.50 for, I think. Definitely less than the tenner, I know that. But the import charges aren't even high on that. But import charges are mainly for heavy goods. So if I was getting this from America or Australia, import charges will cover it because it is classed as a heavy goods item. But even though it's not heavy, but still. They take months to get here, which is a problem. So they're going to seat 6 back there. Let's do some comparisons before we get on to the main meat and potatoes of this thing. Here it is with the ECTO 2. Yeah, the door has a problem. Also, when I got this thing, this ECTO 2 did not have the other blade, so I made one in pewter, which works quite nicely. It is heavy, but so you do get that. It does kind of ricochet and bounce that, which is pretty funny, I think. But as you can see, the ECTO 2 does this. This will get its own review, don't worry. And it's quite a cool little vehicle, really. It's weird, but cool. Here it is with the Highway Haunter. The ECTO one is significantly bigger. And I thought the Highway Haunter was big. No, the ECTO one completely dwarfs it. However, doesn't dwarf it like that, though. This is, if I was ever going to do an animation with these, I would consider this a Renegade Ghost to actually help the Ghostbusters, because this thing's still got its stickers on it. Albeit the only real problem is that one at the back is a bit knackered. But still, this thing, since it has the Ghostbusters logos, I would consider making this a Renegade Ghost and teamed up with them. So that's that. I've got the 4 original Ghostbusters, so we're going to pop this to the side. I did show Ernie Hudson this. He was also quite happy to see it, but the ECTO one was really what he was happy to see. These proton packs had to be fixed, by the way. The reason this isn't on his back, the clips are bust. In fact, that's not even a clip. That's a piece of metal I bent into shape and then glued on and then painted. So you got Winston, Egon. This was the only one with the beam 100% intact. Literally the inner plastic piece. Ray's, you may think, is intact, but it does have a metal piece in there to spin it. I will do reviews on these guys at some point. Probably a review of all 4 of them, because they're all pretty much the same, except for different sculpts. And then the one that causes me the most problems is Venkman's, because his whole neutrino beam is a piece of metal bent into shape and then hammered flat on the sides to harden it. It's considerably heavy. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. There's not one of his legs was loose enough to be tied up. I had to literally repaint all these guys because paint was ripped off most of them. They were going bald. They had skin-coloured hair. So this is the ECTO one with the 4 Ghostbusters. I will show you how you can. There is a way to fit all 4 of them in, but we are going to remove the proton packs, and we're just going to pop them down here to the side. You cannot fit these things in the vehicle, by the way, which is lame as all hell, but... Well, you could if you really tried, but you might risk damaging knees, and that's not something I really want to do. Yeah, and this one has had the most problems because I had to pull this apart and then glue this to that part. It broke around roughly there. And the amount of time it's broken off is a pain. But the good news is, it clips on. And when it's glued, you literally couldn't even tell the thing was glued on. And it still works as well. So that's pretty cool. And I do like this. Even though it's not black, I do like the way this looks clipped on. It's quite nice. Bit of glue stains there. I might need to clean those. And next, if I grab these, I don't have the actual one that comes with this, but I do have nearly every other one. Funnily enough, I have a bunch of mini ghosts. Mostly you'd get the hero Ghostbuster and then the little mini ghosts. So this one came with Egon, for example. And yes, they are translucent plastic. This one's one of my favourite ones, I think. The jaw one. So, you know, it is pretty cool, actually. Showing the light behind these guys, and they're pretty cool. This one came with a special ECTO vehicle, not the ECTO 2 Highway Haunter Ghost. This one came with Venkman. This one came with Ray, and this one came with Winston. This one also came with a Winston. The Fright Features Winston. And this one came with the Super Fright Features Winston. Winston has a lot of ghosts. I do have those 2 figures, by the way. The Winston, the Fright Features one, is in a bad condition. The gimmick doesn't spin his head round, but I did manage to fix it, sort of, so that it basically makes his head rise up and his jaw open, but it doesn't spin around because the part inside is completely busted. These ones came with Janine Melnitz, by the way, which I do have, but slightly busted on the internals. So here is all the little mini ghosts. You could probably pop that one there. You can do what you want with these. You could literally litter the whole car with them and just have them like they're invading the car. Quick thing, these guys did have little features, these little mini ghosts. You could pop this one on there, he was Chomper Ghost. Spud Thud could go on the weapon or he could go on the head. That's pretty cool. I don't know what this one's called. I need to research the name, but this one could do that. This one was called Grabber, I think. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I like to call this one Jaws, but I don't know what his name is. This is the Weenie Ghost. I'll just leave that there. These are, I first thought these were troll toys, but no, they are legitimate Ghostbuster toys. And this one, if I grab Venkman, I would show what Ray Stance's ghost does, but it literally doesn't do anything. You can, because these are nice and soft rubber, you can, yeah. Okay, so let's get on to the meat and potatoes of the vehicle. Let me just move these ghosts, because I do not want to have to get the Ghostbusters to bust them off the table. Pun intended, by the way. In fact, we'll keep one of the mini ghosts. We'll keep this one. I quite like this one. This thing does have some gimmicks, mainly one. Obviously, first of all, you probably noticed the VAT metalized wheel caps. I love that touch, and the fact that the chrome has stayed in such good condition over the years is brilliant. Obviously, you have the gunner's chair. Now, I'm going to do this. We're going to use Winston, since I've met the actor. And I do like this figure, actually. So you can put them in there, and then, if I just move these guns out of the way, because I don't want to break them, you can put this around. It's a bit difficult. And you can lock it in place like that. So, you know, you could have him using the gunner's chair. Whatnot. Silly, but it's an interesting touch. I think it's quite interesting how they did it. And Winston was always driving in the cartoon, and he did drive one, and I do kind of like to think of him as a driver. So we'll use him. We're just going to put this off to the side. Actually, pop it down the floor gently. The doors are flimsy and hollow. Not mega flimsy, but they're annoying. We're gonna, and then, you know, you just pop them in like that. And, you know, as a little kid, that would be pretty cool. You can do the same with Ray. Now, Ray here, for some reason, he's shorter than flipping Winston, but he's harder to get in. I think it's his head. His head does just not like to... Don't worry about the paint scratching on his head. His head was painted with enamel and then used with a matte finish. Now, here's the main problem with the ECTO 1. You got two guys in it, right? You think that's not a problem. But you can only get two guys in it, officially. Unless you do what I do and do a little thing. But first of all, we'll show off the main gimmick. Now, if we open this, you can see there is a grabber claw in there. It comes out like that. Now, if I was to flip this from the side, this does move because this engages this, which has a clicky system. It is interesting how it works. I do quite like it. I'm going to lift it up and roll the wheel. So you take the grabby claw here, and it is on like a sort of ratchet thing. We're going to grab Chomper with it. And if I just cut the back wheels, when you drive it along... Oh, it's stuck. It's stuck! It basically grabs the ghost. Drags him in there. That's cool and all, and as you can see, there is a little plastic hook in there where the cable arm does come on. In order to get that out, you do have to disengage this. I hope you saw that mechanism clearly enough, so you can just put, you know, so you can just do that. Again, we'll just pop him to the side. But there is another thing you can do. There is this little stupid slot here. Hold on, let me just re-engage that and get it out of the way, because... There we go. There is this little stupid bit right here. I call it stupid bit because it really serves no purpose other than for this. Some kind of stealth attack mode. Yeah, because a ghost isn't going to hear a car engine that's about probably several hundred decibels. Yeah, because... This guy's deaf, and obviously he can't hear the bloody ghost, even though he's got freaking... Actually, those are eyes, not ears. Yeah, so he can't hear this happening, and the neutrino gun's blasting him. Oh, I can hear the engine, all right. Yeah, it's loud. That's a bit of a dumbass feature. You can put it in the other way, but then you can't close it up. So no matter which way you put it in, you ain't closing this thing. So what I like to do is if you want to get the other two Ghostbusters in, there is a clever way to do it. You do need to move this out the way first of all. So we're gonna, in fact, we'll close this all the way up. Also put your two figures that you want in the back in seating position. Then it's literally just weaving them in past the mechanism. You can kind of see Egon, since this piece here is hollow, Egon's head just kind of sits into it, a bit stuck, so you can kind of weave them in there and get this hook. If you pull this hook and just get it out of the way, it does help. Let's just take a little bit careful precision. I can't see because my hair's in the way of my face. Kind of lift this guy's arm up because his arm is in the way. And once you do that, you have the 4 Ghostbusters in the car. It's funny because one guy was complaining about this, quite literally. Retro Blasting said you couldn't fit all 4 Ghostbusters in, and he is right on that, because you weren't supposed to. But if you do a little bit of imagination, as you can see, I have clearly fit all of them in. And that looks quite convincing from the side, in my opinion. Really, they should be round about here, but because the kind of toys I've done have bendable knees, except for Indiana Jones line, that's the best you can do. And these guys, for some weird reason, have very long legs. Also, you probably noticed the proportions on this thing are completely ridiculous. This is a cartoon. This is based on a cartoon, so, you know, get over it. Yeah, so, it is pretty big. And those are the Ghostbusters that you can put in the back, so that's pretty simple. Now, these things are highly sought after by collectors. They go for a pretty penny on the market. I hate shoving this guy in the front. I hate shoving Ray in the front of the vehicle. It's a pain in the backside because he just never wants to feck in. Also, if you wonder what that is that piece there, catching on those. Yeah, just making sure the hook's engaged. There's a little plastic hook up there. And basically, this is how the mechanism works. Can you guys see that? You see how that works? Yeah, and there's a little triangle bit in there where that doesn't do anything. So, I will be doing another video on this, probably a while, because, you know, the other video will literally be the restored version of this. Also, for height reference, this is a 10-inch Daryl Dixon. I've reviewed it previously, I mean, like, years ago. I'd say that's about, because these guys are roughly 5 inches, I think. It's about 15 inches tall, if you put one of these guys on top of the head. See? It's a big vehicle. Very big. Very big. This is one of the main vehicles from Ken I wanted to get. I do have 2 others, the Power Loader and the XC37, which are constructed ironically, they're constructed in the same way. That's not the ironic part. The ironic part is the fact that they're smaller. I mean, a lot flipping smaller. And they feel a lot sturdier for some reason. I don't know why. Not to say that this isn't good quality. This is very good quality. But the Power Load and XC37, I think, and even the ECTO 2 in the Highway Horns, I think it's because they're smaller. So I'm just drinking again. It's because they're smaller that they, you know, what is it? Sorry, I don't think of the words. They are, thicker in material. Yeah, because they're smaller, there's less material to go. There's more material and all the bits. I would display this with the Air Sickness team, excluding the pilot, because I don't have the pilot, but I have seen one on eBay for a decent price. I have the other 3 that form a little vehicle, though, ironically. But, and I would display this with some of the other ghosts, but the fact is, this just really isn't compatible. The gimmick just doesn't work. So if I put Brain Blaster here, he ain't going to fit in that boot. He ain't going to fit in the trunk. These little guys would. You've probably seen a review of him on my channel. If you have not, please do watch it. Keep in mind, this guy does need regular maintenance, so he has not been glued back together. So when I roll him, I have to hold him quite tight there. Because he does need maintenance, as the piece that locks the mechanism in place has a catch on it, which is brittle. Because it's quite old and thin, and it cracked in half. But it's still in one piece. It just needs a piece going back together, so yeah. So yeah, the next time you'll see this, it will be fully restored. Now this was re-released a few years later with Ghostbusters 2, and it contained different stickers. Some of the stickers were really good. They gave it a fresh new look, the updated ECTO 1A look. Basically the same vehicle, just with a more detail on it. But then, and I have to agree with Retro Blasting for this, there were some stickers on it which were absolutely stupid. Those are stickers that look like slime splats. Literally, if I wanted, I don't know where it is at the moment, if I wanted to have this thing look like it was slime, I could dunk slime on the damn thing. Because I do have a tub of slime for it. Mainly for the group of Ghostbusters, I want to show their features off on YouTube and maybe do an animation with them. I'm quite into Ghostbusters, as you can see. So overall, does this thing get a recommend? Yes, it does. However, it's going to cost you something. Again, this was complete and yellowed and missing the stickers, but it was about 45 quid, so even this thing was pretty pricey. Do I regret it? No. No, I don't. I've seen some people do custom ones of these with custom lights and custom paint, and they look really good. They do this sculpt justice. Again, since Kenner are known for simplified paint jobs, in fact, this thing really doesn't have any paint except for the chrome, which, even though it's surprising, I usually complain about a toy that doesn't have any paint apps, but this just somehow works. It works. It really does work. Then again, if anything, it's better because all the colours are right, and it's all moulded in coloured plastic, so you're not going to really get any scraping from paint and all that. And stickers, of course, are the main thing of those days. But hey, you know, who cares? This thing's in good nick, and I'm pretty happy with it. Although this thing is flipping filthy. I may have to soak this thing in hot warm water and get all that crap off. Because I don't know if you can see that there is still sticker residue on the door. Yeah. So overall, hope you enjoyed this video. If there's another Ghostbuster figure you want me to review that I have, maybe ECTO 2 or the original 4 Ghostbusters, I will review it. If it's something I've already done before, go take a look at my previous videos. Because I don't do re-reviews unless it's something very special or it's been updated, which this will obviously get. Also, watch out for that. Is that still intact? Yes, that is. Also, this bugger rattles around constantly. But yeah, other than that, great toy. See you later.